Hello everyone, welcome to Jumbo IS. So today will be the day 10 of Geography MCQs and today's topics are rivers of India and soils of India. So let's start with the first MCQ. We already have shared notes with you guys so that you can revise those notes and practice these MCQs and can also learn from these MCQs that how MCQs can be asked from particular topic or particular subtopic. Okay, so let's start with the first MCQ. Number one, consider the following statements regarding drainage basins. So, what do we mean by drainage basin? First of all, a drainage basin functions as a funnel collecting all waters within the basin and channeling it to a single point. Whenever any tributary is there, if that tributary joins the main river, and ultimately each and every drop of rain or any water is coming towards this main river, then the whole area is called that drainage basin of this particular river. Okay, so statement number one is correct. The catchment area of a large river system is called a river basin, while that of a small lake or a tank is referred to as a watershed. So first of all, that's all system is called drainage basin plus catchment area both. But if we talk about the large rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, so all that catchment area of a particular river is known as river basin. Okay, and if we talk about smaller rivers like Luni River and Son River and any other smaller river, then we call it watershed. Okay, so statement number two is also right. Watersheds are typically large areas, generally exceeding 10,000 hectares. No, they are basically smaller areas having less than 1,000 hectare area. Okay, so statement number three is wrong. So which of the statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your one and two only. So all the definitions of drainage basin, catchment area, river basin, watershed. So what are basically the definition that should be clear to us. So the questions can be asked from this pattern and also one-liner MCQs can be asked that what is the definition of drainage basin? Four options will be given and you have to choose one most appropriate option. So both the patterns are to be clear by us and MCQ should be make right by us. Okay, so question number two. With reference to river rejuvenation, consider the following statement. As the name itself suggests that river is being rejuvenated, means its speed is increased. Its erosive power has been increased. Okay, so first of all, it refers to a significant enhancement in the erosive power of a river. Yes, that statement is right. Basically, river rejuvenation means that it increases the speed of the river, and higher the speed of the river, more will be the erosive power, and less will be the depositional power. So, first statement is right. It can be caused by a rise in the sea level, which lowers the base level of erosion. So, base level of erosion will be lowered by decreasing the level of sea level. Okay, so it is not the rise in the sea level, it should be the fall in the sea level, which lowers the base level of erosion. Base level of erosion is basically that level up to which the river can erode. Okay, so that's base level of erosion. If it is lowering down, then basically it increases the erosive power of river because it increases its speed. Okay, so statement number two is also right, is wrong because it is not rise in the sea level, it is fall in the sea level. Dynamic upliftment of land can trigger rejuvenation. Yes, if a river is going from this land surface and this land surface is dynamically uplifted, it may be by some mechanical force, by endogenic forces, whatever force can be acting upon it, but we know that this land has been uplifted. So whenever there will be upliftment of land, ultimately there will be decrease of the there will be increase in the depth of river water. So if river is going from this area and ultimately flowing in a very plain area, if this land has been uplifted, then ultimately river will make waterfalls and hence its speed will be increased, and with its speed its erosive power will be increased. So yes, if the land is being dynamically uplifted, then it also leads to river rejuvenation. Okay, so either we can say that it increases the erosive power of river, the dynamic upliftment of land could be the reason, fall in the sea level or the lowering of base level of erosion could be the reason. It can be also if we increase the volume of water and making the same load of the river, then it also increases its speed. Also, if we decrease the load and keep the volume of water same, then also the speed of the river is increasing. Okay, so these are the four conditions under which rivers can be rejuvenated. Okay, so the only two statements are right because 1 and 3 are right. So option B, only 2 will be the answer. Next is consider the following pairs of drainage patterns and their examples. Drainage patterns basically like radial pattern. Radial pattern is basically that where multiple rivers are originating from a single source. Like Amarkantak Plateau is there. From here, Son River is originating. From here, Narmada River is originating. So all multiple Tapi River is originating. So these rivers are basically originating from Amarkantak, and that is why it is showing radial type of pattern. Okay, centripetal is basically the coming of multiple rivers to a single point or single lake or single pond. So yes, Loktak Lake in Manipur is acting as a centripetal drainage pattern because multiple rivers are draining their water in this Loktak Lake. Okay, so statement number 2 is also right. Trellis pattern is basically whenever the tributaries are joining the main river at right angle, and also these tributaries are flowing parallel to each other. So parallel to each other all the tributaries, and also these tributaries are making right angle with the main river. Okay, so rivers of northern place like Indus and Ganga. No, Indus, Ganga are basically showing dendritic pattern, like tree-like pattern that multiple branches are there. Any river is coming from anywhere and merging with any other river. So that's called dendritic pattern, the tree-like structure. So trellis pattern is not shown by rivers of northern plains. Okay, so statement number 3 is wrong. Rectangular pattern stream in Vindhyas mountains. Rectangular pattern is basically whenever we know that the the main river is making turn at right angles, and all the tributaries are joining this main river at right angles. Okay, so this is your called rectangular pattern, basically formed in those areas where hard rock and soft rocks are found in alternative regions. Okay, so yes, Vindhya mountains are showing this kind of rectangular pattern in different types of rivers. Okay, so first, second, and fourth are basically those pairs which are correctly matched. So answer will be your C, only three pairs. Okay, so with this radial pattern, centripetal pattern, trellis, rectangular, or your other patterns are basically clear to us, dendritic as well. So all other patterns like parallel drainage pattern in which all the rivers are flowing parallel to each other. We know that another is barbed drainage pattern. So in the barbed drainage pattern, if one river is going from this direction to this direction, the tributary should add water in this direction only. But in the barbed pattern, if this river is going into this direction, then tributary is releasing its water in this direction. So that is called barbed drainage pattern. Okay, so multiple drainage patterns are there. The answer of this question is only three pairs. Okay. Next is consider the following statements regarding discordant drainage pattern. First of all, there are two types of drainage pattern. One is your concordant and second is your discordant. Concordant means according to the slope of rock, but discordant means against the slope of the rock. If the slope is like this, then river is not flowing like this. River is flowing like this, opposite to the slope. Concordant means if slope is like this, then the river direction is also like this. So we are talking about discordant. Number one, it is a pattern of drainage that bears no relation to the structure of the underlying rock. Underlying rock can have any kind of slope, but the this type of drainage pattern has no relation with that rock surface. So yes, this statement is right. Superimposed drainage pattern. Discordant drainage pattern had two types of drainage pattern. In one is your superimposed drainage pattern, and second is your antecedent drainage pattern. Okay, so superimposed drainage pattern occurs where the drainage pattern develops on strata that have since been removed by the erosion. So first of all, if river is flowing over this rock strata, this river is flowing over this rock strata which is younger in nature, this is basically your older rock. So what will river do? It will erode all this younger rock and will ultimately superimpose itself over this rock surface. So it doesn't matter that the slope of the rock is like this or is like this. So ultimately the direction and the channel is basically decided by that river. If that river has more volume of water, it can erode that surface and make its path on its own. Okay, so it does not have to follow the pattern or the channel which is described by the rock surface. So statement number 2 is right. Third statement, antecedent rivers are unable to maintain their course during periods of land upliftment. Antecedent rivers are those rivers which are present before the formation of Himalayas as well. So whenever the Himalayas were uplifted, the land were basically uplifted, but these rivers did not change their course. They erode the mountains, made the valleys, and ultimately maintain their original course. So those rivers which have no relation with the land upliftment or the rock surface, so those rivers are called following the discordant drainage pattern. Superimposed is basically simple. It is removing all the younger rocks or the older rocks and ultimately making its path on its own. Antecedent is specifically related to the Himalayas. They are present before the formation of Himalayas and they maintain the original course as well. Okay, so all these first second statements are right. Third statement is wrong because it is written that they are unable to maintain their course. They were able to maintain their course. So statement number 1 and 2 are right, so option B will be your answer. Next is, with reference to Indus River system, consider the following statements. Indus River system. We know that we already discussed about this is Indus River, then Jhelum, then Chenab, then Ravi, then ultimately Byas, Satluj, and ultimately Panjnath River making confluence with the Indus River. We know that Indus River. Chenab is the largest tributary of Indus. It is also known as Chandrabhaga. Yes, Chenab is the largest tributary of Indus River, and as it is formed by the confluence of Chandra and Bhaga River, which merge which merge near Tandi area. Tandi area is basically in Himachal near Kelong. So after Kelong, these Chandra and Bhaga River becomes Chenab River. So yes, statement number 1 is right. Jhelum is navigable between Anantnag and Baramulla. Jhelum is not everywhere navigable that we can build boats and promote tourism. It is only navigable up to some stretches like Anantnag and Baramulla. So statement number 2 is also right. The Byas is the only river in the Indus system that lies entirely within Indian territory. Yes, Byas originates from Byas Kund near Kullu Hills, near Bada Bengal. Okay, so near the Kullu Hills is basically the Byas Kund is basically the origin of Byas River. The Bada Bengal is famous for Ravi River. Okay, so Byas is the only river, yes, originating from Byas Kund and ultimately confluencing with Satluj River near Harike in Punjab. So it is the only river in Indus River system which is lying entirely within Indian territory. On the other hand, Jhelum, which is originating in India but ultimately going to Pakistan. Chenab, same. Chenab is also present in Himachal, then ultimately going to Pakistan. Then we have Ravi ultimately going to Pakistan, and Satluj coming from Tibet or China area, entering into India, and then ultimately going to Pakistan. Okay, so all these Byas is the only river system which is entirely lying within Indian territory. So 1, 2, 3, all statements are right. So option D will be your answer. Next is, consider the following pairs of tributaries and their parent rivers. Lohit is the tributary of Brahmaputra. Yes, if this is Brahmaputra river, in China it is known as Yarlung Sangpo. So it is making U-turn at Namcha Barwa, and Lohit joining it. Lohit is joining it from the left bank. So yes, it is the tributary of Brahmaputra. Son River, the tributary of Yamuna. No, this is your Ganga River, this is Amarkantak Plateau, and ultimately Son River originating from this and making confluence with Ganga River and not Yamuna. So statement number 2 is wrong. Arun River, which is the tributary of Kosi, as known as Sora of Bihar because of frequent floods in monsoon season in Bihar area. So yes, Arun River is the tributary of Kosi River. Kane River, Kane, Betwa, Dhasan, all these are the tributaries of Yamuna River. Okay, so Chambal, if this is your Yamuna River, this is your Ganga, this is your Yamuna, making confluence at Prayagraj near Allahabad. So all this Chambal River is making confluence with Yamuna. Then we have Betwa River. Then we have Kane River. Then we have Betwa River. So all these are the tributaries of Yamuna. So statement number 4 is also wrong. So first and 3 is only the correctly paired match. So answer will be your only 2 pairs. Next is consider the following statements regarding evolution of Himalayan drainage. Number 1. Geologists believe a single river called Indo-Brahma once flowed from Assam to Punjab. Yes, before the formation of Himalayas, a river which is called Indo-Brahma river, which was flowing from Assam to Punjab, the whole area was covered by this Indo-Brahma river. So ultimately it became Indus, then Brahmaputra, and ultimately Ganga. Potwar Plateau uplift acted as a water divide between Indus and Ganga system. Potwar Plateau is in Pakistan, so there was the upliftment of land there, and yes, Indus River going from this direction to this direction, and Ganga is from this to Malda Fort. Okay, so yes, it acted as a water divide between Indus and Ganga river system. Malda Gap diverted the Ganga and Brahmaputra to flow towards the Arabian Sea. No, Malda Fault is basically what? The Garo Rajmahal Gap, which was a kind of depression which was formed when the Indian plate collided with the Eurasian plate. Okay, so it made like a depression, and all the water of Ganga and Brahmaputra and ultimately going to this depression and ultimately making delta in Bay of Bengal and not Arabian Sea. So statement number 1 and 2 are right. Option 3, statement number 3 is wrong. So option is B is your answer. Next is consider the following statements regarding the Godavari River. It is the largest peninsular river system. Yes, Godavari River originating from Nasik area, and near Nasik there is Triambak Hills. So Triambak Hills are the origin point of Godavari River, and from there ultimately it makes the delta in Bay of Bengal. Okay, so this is the area where Rajmundri area is present. So near Rajmundri, there is Sir Arthur Cotton Barrage. So at this barrage, the river is basically converting into different canals, which is used for the irrigation purposes. Okay, so you should know that what is the origin point of Godavari river, and ultimately what is the name of barrage which is responsible for creating different canals from the water of Godavari. So yes, it is the largest peninsular river system. Second, it is also known as Dakshin Ganga. Yes, Dakshin Ganga, because we know that there are 4 areas where Kumbh Mela is being celebrated. One is in Haridwar near Ganga river. Then second is Nasik at your Godavari bank. So yes, it is known as Dakshin Ganga river. Its drainage basin is restricted only to states of Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Yes, it flows in Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh, but as we talk about drainage basin, then all the tributaries should also be taking into consideration. Like Indravati originating from Chhattisgarh, ultimately joining the Godavari at left bank. So Indravati is there. So other than that, all Telangana area and Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, these areas are also the drainage basin of Godavari River. So it's not only to the states of Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so statement number 1 and 2 are right. Third statement is wrong. So option A, 1 and 2 is the answer. Next is